Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. I wanted to give an update here as we'd just finished our third day as the Flicker Strike Raider. All in all, it's going pretty smoothly. In the background you can see some footage of me running a tier 14 map. That's the highest tier map that I've done so far. I'm quite comfortable at doing tier 16s I think, but I just haven't found a tier 16 map yet. I wanted to do the update now because I'm entering a phase here where I'm just going to be grinding some low tier maps for a little while, and there's going to be pretty much no content to share. As some of you might know, Flicker Strike can be a pretty high budget build. I'm currently sitting at maybe 8 divines invested in my character, so we're a great deal short of where we could be. I made a couple of mistakes along the way. The best one was having inspiration support in my Flicker Strike setup instead of added cold damage. When I swapped that out, it was about a 20% damage boost. As for the gear I currently have on, we are using a Paradoxica. I spent about 100 chaos on this. These aren't the ideal stats that you want. The elemental penetration is the one you want, but you want attack speed as the suffix instead of crit multi. The helmet has not changed, it's just life and resistances. I got a shield now with aspect of the cat, which you have to have if you're using Feral's Fur. The aspect of the cat gives me, well, when I have it enabled, gives me frenzy and power charges, and they last almost permanently. There's 1 second here where they tick off and then they're back on. So I got it pretty close. I can spend 1 passive point here and they'll be permanently up. However, I'm generating frenzy charges as I'm attacking anyway, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. We have a Yoke of Suffering here. It's a pretty bad roll one. I'd like to upgrade this in the very near future, and I might even do it as soon as I'm done recording here, I think, because I can imagine it'd be pretty cheap. Rings are both just life, resistances, and attributes. I'm a little bit starved for intelligence and strength because I need to level up my Assassin's Mark a bit higher, and the totems here as well have a decent strength requirement on them. So I could definitely improve this ring by getting one with like 50 strength on it instead. Actually, most things on this ring kind of suck. The gloves here I'm still using. I quite like them. It's hard to beat them. I do get Onslaught and Adrenaline from them, but I also get Onslaught from this flask, so I'm looking to change this flask out in the near future. The belt is actually pretty solid. I got really lucky on this. Some guy sold it to me for only 20 chaos, which is crazy cheap. I think it's worth significantly more than that. But yeah, life, res, damage, and chaos res, which is quite important because this is my only source of chaos resistance. I was minus 60%, and like the chaos degens, they hurt a lot. The gem I got in here, or the jewel rather, is just some damage. Life, crit multi, and flat cold. And of course Dark Ray Vectors. In the Dark Ray Vectors I've got a level 3 Enlighten. It's surprisingly cheap, it's only 50 chaos, which is fantastic because my mana was getting a little tight. I've got Hatred, Herald of Ice, and a Precision. It's only level 5 at the moment, but I've just put the Enlighten in, so I think I'll be able to boost that up a few more levels. My mana is tighter than normal because the shield I got here has Herald of Ice Reservation. So the Herald of Ice explosions are a bit more beefy, but it does require more mana. If I take this off, you'll see my mana goes up. I'm not 100% sure if it's worth it just yet. I'm thinking I might unspec it, but you know, it's free damage at the moment and I can fix my mana issues with the Enlighten, so far no need to do it, but I just need to figure out like if a level 20 precision is better than that. I think it might be. As for our jewels, we have the usual one here: Feed the Fury, Fuel the Fight, Martial Prowess, and I've just got some ordinary jewels in here at the moment. You can get a Forbidden Flame, Forbidden Flesh set up, you can get a Watcher's Eye, there's a lot you can do, but I just don't have the money for them at the moment. I only spend about 100 chaos to 1 divine on each of my jewels. You can see I'm even missing one here. I just need to find one that looks good to me. But they're just life, damage, and I got some intelligence on this one because again we're starved for intelligence, and life, damage, resistances on this one. We have the intuitive leap here, so you can pick up this one, this one, this one, and this one without the small nodes. Very, very good. And we have this jewel up here, which is just life and some damage. I got attack speed on my jewels. It is better to get more crit multi. However, I don't have the attack speed on my Paradoxica, so I'm just making up for it there, just to make the gameplay feel a bit smoother, because it does feel a little funny flicker striking with low attack speed. That and the double crit multi ones are like 5 divines, which I'm not paying right now. Maybe later. All in all, it's going really well. Now that I hit tier 14 maps, so I've allocated myself a few more passives. You can see here I have 17 points left, and I have about 120, or exactly 120 unlocked from my earlier playthrough. So I'm using just over 100 passives, which is about where you would be at tier 14. And I'm going to start farming low tier beasts for the next few hours just to get some currency coming in, because I'd like to get my character up to maybe 20 or 30 divines invested just to make it feel a bit smoother, and then I can tackle some higher tier content without too many dramas. I did do a little bit of this beast farming earlier on today. I did just 1 hour with without the strongbox and shrine nodes on. I just put those on now. But with the essences and the beast nodes all along here, I made around 3 divines in 1 hour, which was pretty good. I don't know how consistent it is, because the beasts you're looking for can be pretty hit and miss. Sometimes you find one in 30 minutes, sometimes you don't find one for a whole hour. I've done it for about 2.5 hours in total, and I found 2 beasts. So it's very hit and miss, and the essences are really nice for smoothing out the money you make, because you know, if you're playing for 2.5 hours and you only find 2 items, that feels terrible. It feels really bad. But the essences fill that in really nicely. In the 1 hour that I did, and I'm not going that quick either, but in the 1 hour that I did do, I made about 1 divine profit from the essences, and that includes the money that I spent on the map device. To put it into context, I ran 25 maps in an hour, which is not slow by any means, but it's also not extremely quick. I wasn't running like strand maps over and over again. I was just running whatever map dropped and then chucking that in the map device, white, rare, whatever, just chuck it in however it lands and keep going. So I wasn't specifically focusing on the fastest maps. If you were to do that, then the profit per hour would be pretty a fair bit higher. However, buying white tier maps in bulk, I can't imagine that's particularly cheap, and it'll just eat into your profits a fair bit. So I think it would be better profit per hour if you have the maps lying around, but if you don't have the maps lying around, then I can't imagine it increases your profit by that much. The best way to increase your profit per hour by doing this strategy is to make your character faster. Invest in some movement speed, invest in attack speed for shield charge or leap slam, frenzy charges, that sort of thing. Something that this character should excel at, but like I said, you need some currency to get Flicker Strike off the ground, and we're currently only about 8 divines invested, which is absolutely bugger all. Anyway, I think I've blubbered on long enough. I'll be back once I'm finished running all of these bestiary maps. I just bought 160 of the scarabs, and I got a 30 in the map device here as well. So that's going to take me a good 7 hours, maybe, something like that. But by the end of it, I would hope that I have 20 divines profit, something like that. That would be really nice, and a really good foundation for pushing this character to the next level. Just one last thing, I am using this strategy which I got from Ellie, which is another YouTuber. She recommended using the polished scarabs in her video because they were only double the price of the rusted ones. However, since that video came out, the polished ones have become 4 times the price of the rusted ones, and they're just not worth using anymore. By buying a polished one for 4 chaos or 5 chaos, you only get 1 extra beast. So you're paying 3 to 4 chaos extra for that one beast. It's just not worth it. The other thing I did, and I'll put some footage up on screen here, was I actually took the time to sell my yellow beasts. It's a bit of a pain in the ass to do it, but I ran out of money, and you can make 1 chaos profit per yellow beast. So I did like 50 maps earlier on, and I had like 300 or 400 yellow beasts to sell. So I sold all of those, and I got 2 divines, and then I was set. After I did that, I was ready to go. So I'd highly recommend selling the yellow beasts if you're just starting out. If you've already got a couple of chaos or a couple of divines to your name, then don't bother. But early on, very good money. It's just a pain in the ass to click them out of your menagerie one by one. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. If you liked the update, if you like the build, if you want to follow along, then consider giving us a like, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.